Welcome to Vinturo, where style meets speed, and history comes alive on wheels. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more rare machines like this one. In a world obsessed with muscle, aggression, and raw power, some cars choose to stand out not by roaring, but by whispering innovation. In 1991, Toyota quietly dropped something onto the streets of Japan that would go on to become one of the most unique and futuristic cars of its time. A car that didn't shout for attention, but still turned heads wherever it went. That car is the Toyota Sera. Let's be real, most people have never even heard of the Toyota Sera. It wasn't a global bestseller. It wasn't built for the racetrack. It didn't win any big-time awards. But it did something most cars never do. It redefined what cool looks like in a compact coupe. From the moment you look at it, the Sera grabs you. Not with brute force, but with elegance. Smooth lines, a rounded silhouette, and that canopy-style glass roof. It's like something pulled straight out of an anime or a sci-fi film. And the doors, oh man, the doors. They don't just open, they rise, butterfly style, just like a McLaren. But here's the kicker, Toyota did it first. Before the McLaren F1 made it iconic, the Sera had already arrived with its signature upswinging glass doors. This wasn't a luxury supercar. This was a compact 2+2 from Toyota, and it had gullwing swagger. At first glance, you might think it's just a cute little coupe. But spend more than a second around the Toyota Sera, and you'll see the details that made it a cult classic. Let's talk about that glass canopy. It wraps around the front, side, and even part of the roof, offering a 360-degree bubble of visibility. It's not just a sunroof. It's a skylight. From the inside, it feels like you're flying a jet, not driving a car. Every drive becomes an experience, flooded with sunlight by day and city lights by night. Of course, a glass canopy presents challenges. Heat, glare, insulation, but Toyota thought of that. The Sera came with air conditioning, removable sunshades, and UV protection long before those were standard. It was like Toyota had looked into the future, and decided to bring a piece of it back to 1991. Under the hood, the Sera wasn't some fire-breathing beast. It carried Toyota's 1.5-liter 5E inline-4 engine, a modest power plant by today's standards, pushing out around 104 horsepower. But for a car that weighed under 950 kilograms, it was just right. Light, nimble, and surprisingly responsive. Paired with either a 4-speed automatic or a 5-speed manual, the Sera was more about smoothness than speed. It wasn't built to race, it was built to cruise. To be seen. To be remembered. Inside the cabin, the futuristic vibe continues. The layout is clean, driver-focused, and a little retro in all the right ways. Toyota didn't overload it with buttons and dials. Instead, the cockpit is wrapped in subtle curves and smooth plastics. The seats were comfy enough for city driving and weekend getaways. And remember, this was a 2+2. So yeah, you could technically squeeze 2 passengers in the back, if they didn't mind ducking a bit under the sloping glass roof. But the real highlight was still the visibility. There's something magical about seeing the entire sky above you while driving through a city. At night, the reflections of neon lights bouncing off the glass made you feel like you were inside a dream. It was almost spiritual. No wonder the Sera developed a small but passionate fan base. People didn't just drive it, they bonded with it. Now let's talk numbers. The Toyota Sera was produced from 1990 to 1995, exclusively for the Japanese market. Only about 15,000 units were made, and because it was right-hand drive, the car wasn't legally sold in many countries outside Japan at the time. But now, thanks to import laws and the 25-year rule, the Sera has found new homes around the world, especially in places like the US, the UK, and even Pakistan. And collectors love it, not because it's fast, but because it's different. It's rare. It's a piece of design that dared to be playful when others were playing it safe. Toyota never made anything quite like it again. The Sera also had a surprising influence on future cars. We already mentioned the McLaren F1 adopting its door style, but there's more. Many design elements from the Sera, especially its curved glass and clean aesthetic, would find echoes in Toyota's later concept cars. It was a car that proved function and form could coexist, even in a compact frame. And it wasn't just about looks. The Sera had advanced safety and comfort features for its time. Anti-lock braking, power windows, keyless entry, and even a factory CD player, all in a car that looked like it came from the future. It made you feel special every time you stepped in. Today, owning a Toyota Sera is like owning a secret. It's not flashy in the traditional sense. It's not loud or aggressive. But it's unique, and it knows it. Every angle of the Sera feels like it was sculpted for curiosity. Every drive feels like a mini sci-fi adventure. And here's the thing, in an era of electric cars, hypercars, and touchscreen overload, the Toyota Sera still holds its own. Not because it tries to compete, but because it reminds us of a time when cars could be fun, weird, and genuinely inspired. It's a time capsule of optimism, the kind of design that happens when engineers and artists collaborate without worrying about trends. Now, of course, there are a few things to keep in mind if you're thinking about owning one. The glass canopy needs care, UV protection is a must. Replacement parts can be hard to find, especially for the unique door mechanism. And being a JDM import, you'll have to get used to right-hand drive if you're outside Japan. But those who own it, they don't care. Because every time you swing open those butterfly doors and slide into that glass cocoon, you're not just starting an engine, you're starting a memory. On the road, the Toyota Sera gets noticed. Not with envy, but with admiration. People point, they smile, they ask, "What is that?" And you smile back, because you know the answer. It's the Toyota Sera, a car that didn't follow the rules. A car that came from the future, and brought a little bit of magic with it. So whether you're a collector, a JDM lover, or just someone who appreciates design that dares to be different, the 1991 Toyota Sera deserves your attention. It's not just a car, it's a statement. A reminder that sometimes, the coolest things come quietly, with butterfly wings.